The session. Oh, for the school board. Yeah. I haven't done it. Are you taking that? Would you take all kind of device?
The 2021 board discussion meeting. We'll begin with our Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's great to see everybody here this evening. We always enjoy having people here to watch our meetings. This meeting is a meeting of the school board in public for the purpose of conducting school corporation business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There will be time for public participation as indicated on the agenda. All board members were provided with background information to the various items on the agenda prior to this evening's meeting. And as always, our meeting is being live streamed, so hello to everyone who may be viewing remotely. We do have our public comment forms here by Attorney Elwood. If anyone would like to address the board at the proper time of the meeting, please fill out one of those forms and return it to the board table to Mr. Elwood. And then at the proper time, we will go through the process of public comments and allow you that opportunity. So as we begin our meeting this evening, we start with our good news reports. Do we have a video today? Very good.
Good evening, and here is this week's good news report. The popular Mrs. Benson from the Porter County Soil and Water Conservation District has been visiting our schools to teach our students about the nature that's in their own backyard. Students spent time with her finding and tracking seeds and learning about leaves. The students love their visits with Mrs. Benson. The Portage Fire Department visited several of our elementary schools recently in preparation for Fire Prevention Month. Our students learned how to make a fire safety plan for their homes, saw firemen put on their safety gear, and more. Thank you to our firefighters for coming out to educate our students on the importance of fire safety and prevention. Portage High School senior Grant Clark has been named a National Merit Scholarship semifinalist. This prestigious academic honor is based on high achievement on the PSAT. Congratulations, Grant. Our Spanish 1 students at Portage High School kicked off Hispanic Heritage Month by celebrating Mexican Independence Day with their teacher, Mrs. Kraus. She wore an authentic dress from Mexico that her grandmother gave to her and shared her family's traditions with her students. They learned about the importance of Mexican Independence Day, watched ballet folklorico performances, and listened to a grito competition. They had a great time learning about their teacher's culture and celebrating Mexican Independence Day. Our Central Elementary School students had a great time on their recent superhero run while supporting important programs and events for their school. The students collected funds and celebrated their efforts with a superhero-themed run around their school. The students exceeded their goal and raised $6,000. They had a great time dressing up as their favorite superheroes and enjoying some time outside. Finally, our unified track and field athletes formed some special friendships during their very first season last year, and Brooke and Don Monet became fast friends. Brooke wanted to give Don Monet a gift to commemorate their first season together on the team. Last week, Brooke surprised Don Monet with her very own Portage Letterman's jacket. This was such a kind gesture that is representative of the bond that the two student athletes share.
Thank you a lot. effort for pancakes. So the inside.
You love pancakes?
I hope it's sprinkled with all my sweetest things. You deserve it. I hope you have the best birthday ever. Love, Brooke.
What do you say?
Thank you.
Give Brooke a hug.
Give her a hug.
Give her a hug, Emily.
Is that 2 hands? Yeah.
Wow, someone there.
Hey.
Open it up.
It has your name. It has your P. Your unified track.
What do you say?
Your last name. Yay! Yeah, we gotta wait for my.
Oh, long happy. No, Really good.
Look at
Yeah.
that!
Oh, I love it.
Oh, it's so cute.
Dominic, give Brooke a hug. Thank you so much.
Aw.
Thanks, guys.
That was this week's Good News Report, and we are Portage proud. Good.
Are there any adjustments to the agenda from the board? Not? Do we have any board reports this evening? Go ahead.
For the Portage Parks Department, just a couple of reminders of some events that we have coming up. Our annual Haunted Hayride will be during fall break, October 21st, 22nd, and 23rd from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. at Woodland Park. We've been hosting this event for over 40 years. It is family friendly and a great time. Cost is $3 per ride. We are still looking for groups to create and man scary scenes, and in doing so, you can earn up to $350 for your organization. Please call the park office if you are interested in participating. We will also host our annual Christmas craft show the first weekend in December. We've been doing that event for over 30 years, and there are still a couple of booths available. Entry is free, but please bring an item for the Portage Food Pantry. And lastly, our annual Daddy-Daughter Dance will be held in February, and our registration for that event will open December 1st, so please put that on your calendar.
Good.
That's it.
Thank you. Are there anybody else have any reports this week? Okay. If not, we'll move on to our superintendent's consent agenda, which has the approval of our personnel report, as well as the donation report. We have a motion to approve the superintendent's consent agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have the motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Trustee Finley.
Yes.
Trustee Vasquez.
Yes.
Trustee Maleta.
Yes.
Trustee Williams, yes. Trustee Wilkie.
Yes.
Next, we have our board consent agenda, which includes the meeting minutes of our special meeting for the school budget hearing, September 27th, 2021. Meeting minutes of our regular board meeting of September 27th of 2021. And meeting minutes of our executive session on September 27th, 2021. Do we have a motion to approve the board's consent agenda?
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call roll, please.
Trustee Vasquez.
Yes.
Trustee Maleta.
Yes.
Trustee Williams, yes. Trustee Wilkie.
Yes.
Trustee Finley.
Yes.
Next, we have new business, which is our approval to advertise for the Portage High School Learning Lab Office Project, Elementary School Media Project.
So this is the Learning Lab where we are currently in the process of demolition of the West Pool. So at this point in time, obviously the bid for the demolition has been awarded, and at this point we're looking to seek your approval to advertise for the Learning Lab, the office project, and our elementary schools media projects throughout the district in a combined opportunity so that we can get competitive bids on those projects.
Very good. Do we have a motion to approve to advertise for the Portage High School Learning Lab Office Project and Elementary School Media Projects?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have the motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call roll, please.
Trustee Maleta.
Yes.
Trustee Williams, yes. Trustee Wilkie.
Yes.
Trustee Finley.
Yes.
Trustee Vasquez.
Yes.
Okay, next we have our superintendent reports. Dr. Alanis.
A few items for you. First of all, regarding the school budget, we did have our hearing. As President Maleta stated at our last meeting, the school board, the school budget presentation for 2022 will take place on Tuesday, October 26th at our regularly scheduled board meeting. That's a Tuesday because we do at that time have fall break on the Monday where our regular meeting would normally fall. Also, I want to congratulate our Pride of Portage Marching Band as they took the group to the Plymouth Harvest Fest at Plymouth High School this Saturday. Mr. Timmerman emailed us and they did take second place, and they also received awards for Best Music and Best General Effect. They will be competing this weekend for the ISMA Scholastic State Finals and in the ISMA Scholastic Prelims. So we wish them, of course, the best of luck and know they will represent Portage as they always do with a great deal of pride, and they just definitely are a talented group of students and educators. We are still working collectively and collaboratively with the partnership committee throughout Portage, the city of Portage, the schools, and the township, the various departments, as well as our schools themselves. We have another meeting here coming up. This was relaunched. We had our first meeting, and it was a great opportunity. And from that alone came a brainstorm from South Haven Elementary, where we were able to assist them in their next Title I parent involvement event, where they're kicking off an opportunity to teach students kindergarten through 5th grade about community. And they're going to have everyone from the mayor, police, fire, Trustee Clancy, and various others there to be able to talk about what it is to be a part of a community and be able to launch that unit with some background information and just be able to have the kids excited about their community in general. As you're aware, we have our buildings working with high reliability schools coaches, and that work is definitely taking shape. We are really grateful for our teachers as they've continued to work extremely hard in getting their priority standards and their learning targets, ICANN statements, all of those things in order. They work very hard to do that, and their hard work does pay off for certain for our students. A reminder, our fall conference will take place next week. I've got some detailed information I will be sending you, just some general reminders and things for you to be aware of. I believe that's all I have.
Very good, thank you. Are there any items that are not on the agenda that the board would like to bring up at this time? If not, okay. Mr. Elwood, did we have any public comment forms?
We had one.
We do.
Deborah Porter.
Okay, so I will go through just to remind everyone how this process works according to our board policy. As I mentioned earlier, school board meetings are not public meetings per se. They are simply meetings of the school board to be held in public. By statute, all of our meetings are held in public, and in our case are also available to be viewed on YouTube. The only exception would be those meetings held in executive session to deal with collective bargaining, personnel issues, or pending legal action. The school board recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on corporation matters. To permit fair and orderly public expression, the board may provide a period for public participation at those meetings of the board, during which action may be taken, and publish procedures to govern such participation in board meetings. The presiding officer of each board meeting at which public participation is permitted shall administer the procedures of the board for its conduct. So here are a few of the rules for participation from our board policy 0167.3. No discussion on personnel, legal, or executive content will be provided or permitted, including collective bargaining. Public participation shall be permitted at the discretion of the presiding officer. Attendees must register their intention to participate in the public portion of the meeting upon their arrival at the meeting. Participants must be recognized by the presiding officer and will be requested to preface their comments by an announcement of their name, address, and group affiliation. Only residents of Portage Township will be permitted to participate. Each statement by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes in duration. No participant can speak more than once on the same topic. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No person may address or question board members or the superintendent individually. Personal attacks will not be permitted. The presiding officer may interrupt, warn, terminate a person's statement when the statement is too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. Request any individual to leave the meeting when that person behaves in a manner that is disruptive of the orderly conduct of the meeting. Request the assistance of law enforcement officers in the removal of a disorderly person, or call for recess or adjournment when the lack of public decorum so interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting. This portion of the meeting during which the public is invited to participate shall be limited to 30 minutes. So again, just to remind you, no discussion on personal, legal, executive content will be permitted, including collective bargaining. And to be clear, the board will treat you with respect. In return, we expect everyone here to do the same. I will keep this meeting professional and orderly, and if there are any personal attacks, heckling, comments from the audience, I will immediately adjourn the meeting. So hopefully we all understand those rules. We can have a good discussion here. And again, we welcome the opportunity to have people come address, especially the public, come address the board with their concerns. So we will begin that now. Who's the first one?
Melissa Presley.
Trustee Williams will run a timer, so he'll let you know as it gets close to your 3 minutes.
Okay. I'm looking down, just holler out my name.
Will do.
Okay, so first off, thank you for letting me speak tonight. My name is Melissa Presley. I live at 652 North State Road, 149. I just want to start off by saying that when this pandemic first started, I think I was a lot like most people, very confused, not knowing what was going on, what was going to happen. And I started having to look at things just like everybody else, news and just research. I then shortly thereafter spoke with a cousin of mine. I went out of town and spoke with him. He is a doctor. He got his PhD and his Doctor of Public Health while in the Navy. And after that, he went on to serve at the White House Medical Unit and is now the head ER doctor of 2 units. ER units. And he told me when I asked him about the pandemic, he said, honestly, if you want a truthful answer, I'll just give you a little bit of food for thought. So I'm going to pass that food for thought on to you. If this is truly the pandemic that is trying to be made out to be, would there still be homeless people around? And when he said that, it really made me think, because they don't have water and sanitation and all the things that we have at home, but they're still here. So it kind of makes you think a little bit. At least it made me think. Anyways, the reason I'm here is I have 2 grandchildren that are in kindergarten at the South Haven Elementary School now. And like everybody else, we were told that we would have the right to decide if we wanted them to wear masks or not. Shortly thereafter, we were told that we no longer had that choice, that they would have to wear masks. About 3 days into that masks being called in, my 2 grandchildren were both sent home sick. After 2 ER visits and a doctor visit, we found out that they had severe food poisoning, which, not to say that it did, but it could have came from wearing a mask after eating food. They were very sick. They had to miss about a week of school, which they did not enjoy. And the kids wear these masks all day. After touching surfaces, they also have to wear them to the restroom. After flushing water, which can splash up to 6 feet after a flush and land on their masks, but then they're still wearing them in class. They could be wearing them, which is not healthy at all. I also want to discuss how you say masking the kids is safer than safe, but it's funny that it's safe for parents, or it's safe for teachers and students to wear the masks, and that's why you have them wearing masks, but yet it's not safe for a parent to wear a mask and go into the school. We have no clue at this point in time what's going on in these schools.
Time.
Okay, I'm sorry. Guess
Thank
that's
you,
it.
Ms. Presley.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate your comments. Next.
Laura Kellet.
My name is Laura Kellet. You have my address there on the form. I'd rather just keep it on there. I know you sat and listened to us a couple weeks ago about the masks, and yet it still has not been lifted. So I'm wondering why, when you know that we had a room full of parents that all expressed their opinions, gave you evidence. It doesn't follow any science or logic. There is overwhelming evidence that it's harmful to our children, and quite frankly, it's useless. It's not a mandate. The guidance reads that schools that mask don't have to quarantine children that get contact traced. So there is a choice there. There are several schools within the region that chose to not reinstate mask requirements. Griffith's school systems do not have mask requirements, nor do they quarantine kids who have been contact traced. So that is an option, and it can be done. So I'm confused as to why you're not listening to the people that you represent. The choice that you are making by keeping this mandate in place goes against what we want as your constituents. It's opposite of what's best for the children. It infringes on our constitutional rights and seems only to be beneficial to the government and the business of Portage Township Schools. I want to remind you that you took an oath when we elected you into office, an oath to support the Constitution of the United States, and I'm struggling to see how you're living up to that oath. See, we don't need or want you to protect our children's health. We can do that. What we need you to do is protect and support our constitutional rights and freedoms to do so. I mean, if we can just get honest now, the jig is kind of up. Most everyone can see that this is not about health. No one's being fooled by the excuse that it's health anymore. The mandates have no rhyme or reason. They make no sense logically or scientifically. You have masks in school, but not in gym or recess, not at sporting events or school dances. It's kind of absurd. And if you thought this was your only choice to keep the kids in school so they don't have to be quarantined, like I said, Griffith schools are not quarantining their kids. And they made a choice to put an end to all this nonsense, which is a choice you could make too, you know, so that you don't make yourselves enemies to the families of Portage, because it doesn't have to be like this. We could work together. And I understand that maybe you were in a tough position before, but now you know what your constituents want. Now you know that you can put an end to all of it. You know that it would be the choice that would live up to your oath and to the Constitution, and upholding the constitutional rights of Americans is never the wrong choice. It is the very foundation of this free republic. These mandates are a blatant violation of our constitutional rights and freedoms, which we know is the theme of our federal government right now, but I was hoping here in Portage we had elected officials that would live up to their oath and our Constitution. Elected officials are supposed to work for the people and do what's in our best interest, not work for the government and do what's in the government's best interests. I will tell you that many of us are really done having our rights trampled on and being blown off by the people that we elect to represent us. We do not need more politicians to take power away from the people and act like dictators. We need leaders who will empower the people, fight for us, and uphold our constitutional rights.
Time.
Thank you. Mr. Elliott?
Deborah Porter.
Hello, my name is Deborah Porter, and I am not a resident of Portage, but I am the chair of the bargaining committee for PAT. So PAT and the administration have always enjoyed a collaborative approach to bargaining. And while our last bargaining session ended abruptly after some rather angry outbursts, this does not mean that we have moved into an adversarial position. This year, PAT came to bargaining with 3 specific goals in mind regarding compensation.
We're not doing this.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
just,
collective bargaining. You can't bring, you're violating the NLRB right now. You can't bring bargaining in a private session into a public meeting while bargaining's still going on. So, can't do it. You know this, Deb.
well, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any further, Mr. Elwood?
No.
Okay, anything else from the board this evening? Not, meeting adjourned.